Hold on to this, my friend. A move that seemed impossible may be about to happen. The pressure in Las Vegas is so high that even Damian Lillard has joined the conversation, and he wants a hot name wearing a Raiders jersey. I know it sounds crazy, but there's something going on behind the scenes, and fans are already excited about this idea. I've managed to gather everything that's going on about this possible trade, and the underlying rumor will surprise you. So like and subscribe now, because what I'm about to tell you could be the beginning of an epic turnaround in Las Vegas. The Raiders' season is relentless, and now the nightmare surrounding Brock Bowers' knee injury refuses to go away. After sitting out Week 5 against the Indianapolis Colts, the young tight end has officially been classified as week to week, leaving Raider Nation wondering if he'll be ready for Week 6 against the Tennessee Titans. Coach Pete Carroll didn't sugarcoat the situation either, confirming their worst fears during his Monday press conference. Brock is week to week. Those words hit like a hammer, because this isn't just any injury, and this isn't just any player. Bowers isn't a role player. He isn't a depth player. He was drafted to be the centerpiece of the offense, the spark that could finally bring consistency to a unit searching for an identity. Raider Nation saw this in flashes during his explosive Week 1 debut, when he looked unstoppable, catching everything in sight and moving like a mismatched nightmare. At that moment, fans thought, finally, we have our guy. But then came the blow. Then came the pain. And since that moment, Bowers has never been the same. So what exactly is going on? ESPN's Adam Schefter explained, Bowers is dealing with a torn posterior cruciate ligament, PCL, and a painful bone bruise in his knee. The doctor's verdict? The only cure is rest. Time off. Patience. But here's the problem. Rest is the one thing Brock Bowers doesn't want to do. Since the moment he sprained his knee in Week 1 against the Patriots, the rookie has been pushing himself back onto the field, pushing himself in practice, trying to play through the pain. His mentality is that of a pure fighter. He doesn't want to let his teammates down, doesn't want to appear to be slowing down. But the truth is obvious to anyone watching. He's not the same. The explosiveness that made him so lethal, gone. The precise cuts that sent defenders into a tizzy, they're over. Even his confidence seems shaken at times, because his body simply won't let him play like he knows he can. The stats prove it. After his monstrous performance in Week 1, his numbers have plummeted. He hasn't been the same weapon, and defenses are noticing. They're daring the Raiders to take advantage of him, and so far, Bowers hasn't been able to punish them. So now the question is, what's the plan? With the Raiders at 1-4, their season already hanging by a thread, is it really worth risking the long-term health of their brightest young star just to chase victories in a season that already seems to be slipping away? Pete Carroll seems to know the answer. As much as he wants to win, he knows the smart play is patience. Why push Bowers to exhaustion in a year when even his best performance probably wouldn't completely change the record? Why risk his future for meaningless games in October? It's a bitter pill to swallow for fans. Raider Nation craves a player in someone they can lean on, a star to pin their hopes on. And if Bowers' absence is already a concern for the offense, the situation on defense has worsened, and quickly. A decision by Pete Carroll took everyone by surprise and caused shock in the Raiders' locker room. If you thought the news about Brock Bowers' injury was bad enough, the Raiders decided to add fuel to the fire with another shocking development. Veteran linebacker Jermaine Pratt was released. That's right, Raider Nation. The veteran defensive end signed last June is gone, and the speed of this transfer left fans stunned, players shaken, and analysts questioning the team's stability. Let's rewind. Pratt arrived with experience, drive, and the expectation of immediately elevating a shaky linebacking unit. After being cut by the Cincinnati Bengals, Las Vegas was supposed to be his fresh start, a place where he could come in, lead by example, and solidify the middle of the defense. On paper, it seemed like the perfect fit. But football isn't played on paper, and almost from the start, things weren't working out. By Week 3, the flaws were visible. Pratt struggled against the run, often out of position and missing key tackles. In coverage, he looked a bit slow, unable to keep up with tight ends or running backs in space. His production was not only disappointing, but it also hurt the defense. And when you combine his declining performance with the pressure of a 1-4 start, patience quickly wears thin. The breaking point came last weekend when Pratt didn't even travel with the team to face the Colts. That was the wake-up call. And indeed, after the humiliating 40-6 rout, Pete Carroll confirmed what many suspected. Pratt's time in Las Vegas was over. His explanation? Cold and simple. I just decided to go with the other guys. It's the kind of statement that sends chills through the locker room, because Pratt wasn't just another guy. He was supposed to be a stabilizing force. And now, in the blink of an eye, he's gone. But what's even more troubling is the trend behind this decision. Pratt isn't the first defensive starter to be released. Remember Christian Wilkins? Another veteran, another expected leader. Also left training camp. 2 starters, 2 veterans. Released before the season's halfway point. This isn't a coincidence. It's a pattern. And patterns like this point to something deeper than just on-field struggles. Something's amiss behind the scenes. Is it the system? Is it Carroll's leadership style? Is there a disconnect between the veterans and the new coaching philosophy? Whatever the answer, fans can see the bigger picture. This is a defense lacking stability, a team losing its backbone, and a franchise that seems more chaotic by the week. But the drama didn't stop there. After Pratt's release, a new name began to make waves online, and an NBA star chimed in, calling for a radical change in Las Vegas's offensive leadership. As if the Raiders' season didn't already feel like a soap opera, NBA star Damian Lillard just added another twist that has Raider Nation buzzing. The Oakland-born point guard, who grew up bleeding silver and black, took to social media after the embarrassing 40-6 loss to the Colts and made a demand: bring Shedeur Sanders to Las Vegas. That's right, Dame Time wants Shedeur time in Sin City. Lillard's words weren't subtle either. His first post read, "Time to move on and trade for Shedeur, man, Semef." Minutes later, he reinforced, "It's time to get Shedeur on this team and start preparing for the future." And just like that, the rumor mill exploded. Now let's analyze. The Raiders' quarterback situation is, in a word, a disaster. Geno Smith, the man hired to stabilize the position, currently leads the NFL in interceptions with 9 in just 5 games. 9! His decision-making has been erratic, his accuracy shaky, and his leadership is increasingly questioned each week. Behind him is Kenny Pickett, a quarterback who has yet to prove he's more than a temporary solution. The result? A franchise stagnant at 1-4, with fans quickly losing patience. Enter Shedeur Sanders. The rookie quarterback, son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, is currently languishing on the Cleveland Browns bench behind Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel. He hasn't seen significant snaps, but his potential, recognition, and the hype surrounding him are off the charts. Fans see him as raw but electric, and someone like Damian Lillard sees him as the kind of prospect who could immediately energize Raider Nation. But here's the twist. The Raiders had their chance. Back in the draft, Shedeur Sanders was available. Las Vegas refused, multiple times. Instead, they invested in offensive talent elsewhere. And many insiders believe Pete Carroll himself opposed the idea of drafting Sanders. Why? Because he didn't want to upset Geno Smith, a quarterback with whom he already had a history. Carroll was trying to protect his player, but after watching Geno crumble this season, that decision seems more like a costly mistake than a calculated plan. So the question now is, could a trade happen? The Browns have little incentive to part with Sanders, especially when quarterback depth is always at a premium. And for the Raiders, adding Sanders would mean admitting failure with Geno just 5 games into the season. Still, when a star like Damian Lillard speaks, people listen. His voice carries weight not just with the fans, but with the culture of the franchise. And right now, that culture is desperate for hope, desperate for change, and desperate for anything that feels like a step toward the future. For Raider Nation, the idea of Shedeur Sanders in silver and black isn't just about wins and losses. It's about energy, enthusiasm, and pride. It's about having something to believe in again. With Brock Bowers injured, Jermaine Pratt out of the lineup, and Damian Lillard asking for Shedeur Sanders in Las Vegas, do you think the Raiders are just going through a rough patch? Or is it time to rebuild from scratch and focus on a whole new future? Leave your opinion here, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later to update you with the latest Raiders news.